Hey, welcome back. I want to tell you about my friend Marcus. 3 years ago, Marcus was the kind of person everyone loved. He showed up for people at 2 a.m. He forgave people who never apologized. He gave everything he had to people who gave him nothing in return. And slowly, quietly, it destroyed him. I watched it happen. I watched him shrink. I watched him explain himself to people who didn't care. I watched him chase people who were already walking away. And the worst part, he thought that was what being a good person looked like. Then I didn't see him for 3 years. When I ran into him again, something was different. He wasn't broken anymore. He wasn't angry either. He was just calm, certain, like someone who had figured out something most people never do. I asked him what changed. He said, "The world didn't change, I did. I stopped being easy to break." That sentence hit me somewhere deep because I realized it wasn't just his story, it was mine. And right now, sitting wherever you are, I think it might be yours too. So today I want to walk you through the 8 shifts that changed everything for Marcus. And if you stay until the end, I promise you'll see yourself differently. Here's the thing nobody tells you. Your biggest weakness was never your heart. It was where you placed it. You've been pouring yourself into people who take your energy and never give it back. And you kept going back, kept forgiving, kept hoping they'd finally see your worth, but they never did. And there's a reason for that. In the psychology of human behavior, what's freely given is subconsciously devalued. When you give without limits, people don't feel grateful. They feel entitled. They assume you give so much because you need their approval. And once someone senses your need, they stop respecting you. Marcus told me he spent years being the most available person in every room, and he was also the most disrespected. The moment he stopped explaining himself, stopped forgiving instantly, stopped being so predictable with his kindness, people's behavior toward him completely changed. Because here's the truth. People remember consequences, not kindness. They respect boundaries, not explanations. Your care is a privilege, not a right. Give it only to those who've earned it, and let everyone else feel the weight of your absence. After Marcus cut off the wrong people, the loneliness hit hard. He told me there were nights he questioned everything, whether he was being selfish, whether he was the problem. The pain was real, but instead of drowning in it, he started studying it. Every betrayal showed him who he'd trusted too easily. Every disappointment revealed where he'd placed his worth in the wrong hands. Every loss stripped away an illusion he didn't need anyway. Pain isn't punishment, it's information. The difference between people who break and people who rise isn't how much pain they felt, it's what they did with it. Weak people look for fairness. Strong people look for the lesson. So the next time something hurts you, don't just sit in it, ask yourself, what is this showing me? What am I learning about where my energy was going? Your suffering has a purpose. The question is whether you're willing to use it. This one is hard because most of us were raised to believe that if we just explain ourselves clearly enough, people will get it. They won't. Most people don't listen to understand you. They listen to find something to use against you. And every time you over-explain, you hand them the blueprint to your emotions. Marcus used to spend hours justifying his decisions to people who had already made up their minds about him, and every explanation made him look weaker, not stronger. The most commanding people aren't the ones who defend themselves the loudest. They're the ones who don't feel the need to defend themselves at all. When you stop explaining, something shifts. People can no longer predict you, and when they can't predict you, they can't control you. You don't owe anyone clarity about your choices. Let them misread you. Let them assume you've gone cold or distant. Every wrong label they give you is another layer of protection. The truth is, those who genuinely value you will never demand an explanation. There's a simple rule Marcus lives by now. The moment you start chasing someone, you've already lost. Not because they're better than you, but because the act of chasing itself broadcasts something. It says, I need you more than I need my own dignity. Detachment isn't coldness. It's not about not caring. It's about caring about yourself first. When someone pulls away, you don't argue, you observe. When someone disrespects you, you don't plead, you disappear. That silence, that absence, it speaks louder than any confrontation ever could. People who once took you for granted will notice when you stop reacting, because your reaction was their power source. Take that away, and suddenly the dynamic flips. Stop begging for what should be freely given. Stop chasing what doesn't want to be caught. The right people don't need to be convinced to value you. Drop the need. Reclaim your peace. For most of his life, Marcus thought saying no made him a bad person, so he said yes to everything, to everyone, and people walked all over him because of it. Here's what he learned. You don't teach people how to treat you through words. You teach them through what you tolerate. Every time you absorb disrespect without
consequence, you're giving permission. Every time you forgive without accountability, you're training people to repeat the behavior. Boundaries aren't about keeping people out. They're about protecting what's worth keeping inside. Your peace, your self-respect, your energy. When you calmly hold a line without guilt or anger, you communicate something powerful. You communicate that your worth isn't up for debate. The people who truly belong in your life won't push against your limits. They'll respect them. And the ones who don't, they were never really there for you anyway. Marcus told me one of the biggest changes he made was simple. He just started talking less. Not because he had nothing to say, but because he realized how much power he was giving away every time he filled the silence. When you speak to explain, you reveal your fears. When you speak to justify, you reveal your insecurities. When you speak to fill awkward space, you show people exactly how to unsettle you. But when you're silent, they don't know what you're thinking. They don't know your next move. That uncertainty makes them cautious, and caution is a form of respect. The loudest person in the room is usually the one with the least control. The quietest one is watching everything. Try it. Next time someone says something designed to provoke you, say nothing. Hold the pause. Watch what happens. They'll either backtrack, over-explain, or reveal exactly what they were trying to hide. Your silence is a language. Learn to speak it fluently. This might be the most uncomfortable shift, but it's one of the most important. Marcus used to be completely loyal to people who were never fully loyal to him. He protected people who wouldn't do the same. He stayed when leaving would have saved him years of pain. And he stayed because he thought that's what good people do. But loyalty without discernment isn't loyalty. It's self-betrayal. The people who thrive long-term aren't the ones who give loyalty freely to everyone. They're the ones who give it deliberately, to those who've actually earned it, to those who would genuinely show up if the roles were reversed. Observe more, commit less until someone has proven they deserve your full trust. And when someone repeatedly shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Your allegiance belongs to your values and your future, not to people who are simply comfortable with your sacrifice. After everything Marcus went through, the losses, the lessons, the long nights, he arrived somewhere unexpected. Peace. Not the peace that comes from everything being perfect, the peace that comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay. No one's approval can lift you. No one's betrayal can destroy you, because you're no longer built on what other people think of you. That's what untouchable means. It doesn't mean you don't feel things. It means you're no longer controlled by those feelings. Anger becomes information, not reaction. Pain becomes fuel, not identity. Disappointment becomes direction, not defeat. When you reach this place, something changes in how people interact with you. They sense something in you that they can't fully name. You're not cold, but you're not fragile either. You're just solid. And that solidity, that quiet certainty, it commands a kind of respect that no amount of explaining or pleasing ever could. Marcus didn't become a different person. He became a truer version of himself, one that stopped shrinking to make others comfortable. And that's available to you too. Stop pouring your energy into the ungrateful. Use your pain as a teacher. Drop the need to be understood. Detach from what drains you. Hold your lines without apology. Say less. Choose your loyalty with care. And build yourself into someone that no circumstance can shake. None of this happens overnight, but every single choice you make in this direction removes a little more of the world's leverage over you. The version of you that can't be manipulated, can't be broken, can't be controlled, that version already exists. You just have to stop burying it under everyone else's needs. If this hit home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and I'll see you in the next one.